A pleasant day, everyone. I am Zenaida Bantilan, and today I welcome you to the chapter 13 of our legal aspect in tourism hospitality entitled Labor Law. This topic has a learning objectives, which are first is to enumerate the classification of employees, their benefits, privileges, and policies affecting them. Second is to identify some best practices in handling human resources in tourism establishment. Third is to identify the procedures in handling sexual harassment in the workplace. And lastly is to explain the rights of workers employed in tourism establishment. The labor laws in the Philippines are meticulously crafted to provide comprehensive protection to all workers, whether local or overseas, organized or unorganized. The state mandates include ensuring full employment and equal job opportunities, safeguarding rights to self organization, collective bargaining, and the rights to strike with legal boundaries. Workers are guaranteed security of tenure, human worker condition, and a living wage to maintain their dignity and support their families. Furthermore, the state advocates for shared responsibility between workers and employers, emphasizing the significance of voluntary dispute resolution method to uphold industrial peace. It acknowledges labor's entitlement to a fair share in production profit and enterprises' need for reasonable returns on investment for foster growth. Special attention is given to working women, ensuring safe working conditions that considers their maternal rules and provides avenues for welfare and professional advancement in national service. Employee classification in the Philippines is structured to ensure tailored rights and conditions based on employment status, encompassing various categories. Regular employees are engaged in essential business activities or have completed a specific service period, while casual employees are hired for incidental work for a defined period with potential transition to regular status. Seasonal employees are employed for seasonal works with temporary layoff during off seasons, maintaining ties with the employers. Project employees are recruited for specific projects with predetermined scope and duration, while probationary employees are under trial for permanent employment with a specified probationary period. Employees for a fixed term are covered by a contract with fixed employment periods, ensuring voluntary agreements without skirting security of tenure laws. Overseas Filipino workers are engaged in remunerated activities abroad safeguarded by specific laws governing the employment rights and welfare. Special workers in the Philippines plays a crucial role in the labor landscape, benefiting from unique provision tailored to their specific needs. Apprentices are covered by written apprenticeship agreement for training in approved occupation over a specific period, while learners receive practical in the job training for a limited period in semi-skilled and non-apprenticeshable roles. Handicapped workers, individuals with impaired earnings capacity due to age, physical, mental deficiency, or injuries are protected under the Magna Carta for disabled persons. They are entitled to equal treatment and opportunities in the workplace, acknowledging their distinct challenges and capabilities. The enforcement of this law is vital to ensure accurate working classification, contracting with service providers, upholding labor rights, fostering industrial harmony, and creating a conducive work environment for all workers in the Philippines are paramount objectives of the legal framework. Labor regulations are outlined in Republic Act No. 6727 delegates the determination of minimum wage rates the Regional Tripartite and Productivity Board. This system aims not only to see a minimum wage but also to enhance existing wages, promote productivity improvement, and ensure a decent standard of living for workers and their families. Additionally, collective bargaining plays a vital role in negotiating agreements between employers and employees, leading to the formation of collective bargaining agreements. These agreements cover various aspects such as management rights, wages, working condition, and grievance procedures. While both parties have a mutual obligation to engage in collective bargaining, the employer is not legally required to initiate negotiations. However, once certain conditions are met, including majority representation of employees and demands to bargain, the bargaining process must begin within the 12 months. Failure to bargain in good faith or violating the economic provision of the CBE constitutes unfair labor practices. It is essential for the CBA to be ratified by the majority of all workers in bargaining units and registered within 30 days of execution. The CBA provision have a 3-year term ensuring stability in labor relations, while the representation aspect remain valid for 5 years. These regulations provide a framework for fair labor practices, protects workers' rights, and promotes a balanced and productive work environment in the Philippines. The Labor Code of the Philippines, as stipulated in Article 255, grants individual employees or groups the right to present grievances to their employers independently, regardless of collective bargaining or exclusive bargaining representatives. To facilitate communication and dispute resolution, the Department of Labor and Employment encourage the establishment of Labor Management Council in both organized and unorganized establishments. LMCs, whether in the form of council or committee, provides a platform for management and employees to address concerns, fostering industrial peace without the need for formal collective bargaining. The effectiveness of an LMC hinge in the sincerity, confidence, and maturity of both sides, with the potential to obviate the necessary of labor unions if properly utilized. It is essential that the employee representative in LMCs are selected by the employees themselves to ensure independence and fairness. Regarding maternity and paternity leaves, Republic Act No. 8282, known as the Social Security Act of 1997, governs maternity benefits for female members who have made the requisite contributions. The law mandates a daily maternity benefit equivalent to 100% of the average daily salary credit for 60 days, 70 days for cesarean delivery, subject to specific conditions. On the other hand, Republic Act No. 8187, Paternity Leave Act of 1996 entitles married male employees to 7 days of paternity leave with full payment for the first 4 deliveries of their legitimate spouses. Conditions for paternity leaves include being an employee at the time of delivery, cohabiting with a spouse, applying for leave as per the implementing rules, and the spouse giving birth or experiencing a miscarriage. Furthermore, Republic Act No. 8972, the Solo Parents Welfare Act of 2000, provides leave privileges to solo parents. In addition to existing leave benefits, solo parents employees with at least 1 year of service are entitled to parental leave of up to 7 days annually. This legislative provision aims to support the welfare of employees, promoting family-friendly policies, and ensure a conductive work environment that values the well-being of both workers and their families. Text of union rights, strikes, and lockouts in the Philippines, a legislative labor organization has the legal standing to represent its members in pursuing individual monetary claims. To engage in collective bargaining, a labor union must be certified as the exclusive bargaining agent through a certification election. A strike refers to the temporary cessation of work by employees as a response to a labor or industrial dispute, while a lockout involves the temporary withholding of work by an employer due to such a dispute. A labor dispute encompasses any issue related to the employment terms, conditions, or representation in negotiation regardless of the relationship between the disputing parties. The ground for a strike or lockout are limited to collective bargaining, deadlocks, or unfair labor practices. For a strike to be legally protected, a certain requirement must meet, including a filing a notice with the Department of Labor and Employment, observing a cooling off period, conducting a strike vote by secret ballot, and reporting the results to the National Conciliation and Mediation Board before the intended strike. Unfair labor practices, which impede the constitutional right of the workers to the self-organization and disrupt harmonious labor management relations, are condemned as detrimental to both labor and management interests. Regarding the service charges, establishments like hotel, restaurants, and similar businesses that collect service charges are subject to specific rules. These establishments are required to distribute 85% of the service charges to the covered employees equally, with the remaining 15% allocated for the management. The management share can be used for losses, breakage, or distribution to managerial employees at their discretion. Contracts in the Philippines are formal agreements where an employee commits to provide their services to the employer in on time or worthy. These contracts are governed by the Labor Code, Civil Code, and other relevant laws. Parties have the freedom to set terms as long as they comply with legal standards and promote social justice and industrial peace. In case of doubt, contracts are interpreted in favor of the workers' safety and well-being. While employment contracts are consensual and do not require specific formalities, industries like tourism often use written contracts to protect both capital and labor interests, especially for probationary project-based, casual, and fixed-term employees. Clear communication through written contract ensures that employees understand the standards, scope, and duration of their employment, fostering compliance and mutual understanding. Incorporating elements like company rules, discipline codes, and job description and standard procedures in written contract reinforce the need for employees to adhere to lawful and reasonable directives from superiors, promoting a harmonious work environment and enhancing employee knowledge and acceptance. In the Philippines, employee and their beneficiaries are entitled to various benefits under the country's law and regulation. Death benefits, governed by the Social Security law, provides monthly pension to primary beneficiaries of deceased members who have made sufficient contribution, with second beneficiary receiving a lump sum benefit if no primary beneficiary exists. A funeral grant is also allocated to cover funeral expenses for deceased members. In case of work-related deaths, additional benefits are granted under the Employees' Compensation Fund. Health benefits includes sickness, benefits of members meeting specific contribution criteria and management services for work-related illnesses. Drug testing regulation as per Republic Act number 9165 mandates random drug testing in workplaces to mitigate risk with positive result leading to administrative action. Retirement benefits outlined in the Labor Code and Republic Act number 7641 ensures employee reaching retirement age receive retirement pay based on year of service. Uniform policies in tourism establishments like hotels and restaurants enforce grooming standard and uniform wear, essential for accreditation by Department of Tourism. In the Philippines, employees in the private sectors are covered by various social security and welfare programs, including the Social Security System, PhilHealth, Employee Compensation Commission, and Pag-ibig Fund. The SSS law aims to provide comprehensive protection to members and their beneficiaries against various contingencies such as disability, sickness, maternity, old age, and death, ensuring financial security in times of need. PhilHealth administer health insurance programs offering inpatient and outpatient care services, including hospital care, diagnostic services, preventive care, and emergency services. Employees can also benefit from employees' compensation and state insurance fund in case of work-related disabilities. Membership to the Pag-ibig Fund mandated by the Republic Act 7742 is compulsory for employees governed by the SSS extended to expatriates up to 60 years old under SSS coverage. Pag-ibig benefit include housing loan, calamity loans, and a prevent savings program enhancing financial stability for members. In case of termination of employment due process is essential to uphold worker security of tenure and protect them from unjust dismissal. The Labor Code outlines the standard of due process for termination, including written notices, hearings, and just causes for termination such as serious misconduct, neglect of duties, fraud, or commission of a crime. Compliance with termination procedures and just causes ensures fairness and legal adherence in employment termination cases, safeguarding the rights of both employers and employees in the workforce. Laws against discrimination in the Philippines aims to ensure equal work opportunities regardless of sex, race, or creed. Republic Act No. 7277, the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, prohibits discrimination against handicapped workers, outlining specific acts of discrimination such as limiting job opportunities, unequal compensation, and unfair treatment in promotions. Republic Act No. 6725 strengthens the prohibition of discrimination against women, addressing issues like unequal compensation and biased promotion. Decision based on gender. Presidential Decree 966 criminalized violations of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, holding offenders legally liable for discriminatory actions. Employment of women is protected under the Labor Code, which mandates safe working conditions, facilities like separate toilets and nurseries, and prohibits discriminatory practices such as dismissing pregnant employees or imposing marriage restriction. Sexual harassment in the workplace is addressed by Republic Act No. 7877 defining and prohibiting sexual harassment by individuals in position of authority over others in a work environment. Employers are required to prevent and address sexual harassment cases through appropriate rules and regulations, ensuring a safe and respectful working place. Example of sexual harassment includes unwelcome advances, physical contact without consent, and abuse of power for sexual favors. Companies are encouraged to implement performance evaluation, merit-based incentives, comprehensive benefits, training programs, and ethical codes to support employee development and well-being. Adherence to due process and termination disputes, employee orientation on company policies, jobs, description, and training investments are essential for a fair and productive work environment. In the tourism industry, financing models, contractual employment during emergencies, and compliance with civil service regulations for government administered tourist sites are common practices to manage labor costs and ensure legal compliance.